Assalamualaikum and konnichiwa. Thank you for joining today's episode of Academically Speaking with me, Azalia, and
Hi.
today is a special New Year episode as we move into the year 2020 in a couple of hours.
New decade.
Yes, a new decade. So we're just going to have a little chat together about the past decade and how's the next one going to be like for both of us. Okay, so in today's episode, the topic that we will be discussing is the word of the decade. So basically, one word, just one word that encapsulates the whole decade, the whole 10 years of your life and our life and whoever's life. So it was his idea actually. So
Well, I don't think the word encapsulates everything over the last 10 years. I mean, it's just the word of the decade is basically just one word to summarize a decade. I mean, we kind of learned this from Fitzy, and Fitzy in turn learned from Yasmin Ahmad. If you can't summarize, if you don't have one word to summarize that something, that means you have not completely understood it enough. So that's why all the Fitzy novel is all one word, right? Hanya satu perkataan. So I was thinking, what would be a word that kind of accurately capture what I'm feeling, like from the beginning of the decade and the transformation at the end of the decade. Yep. So that's the explanation for one word to summarize the past decade.
okay, so not encapsulate but to summarize the decade. So I had a long time to think about this. I had to really write everything down and pinpoint because so many things happen in 10 years. Come to think about it, we're both 1992 babies, so exactly 2010 we have just finished SPM and turned 18. We turned 18 in 2000.
Yeah, after high school.
Yeah, so it's really the past 10 years for our generation, I guess, is really the real time between 18 years old to now turning 28. It's really the 10 years of growing up, in my opinion. So it took me a while to figure it out, but I got my word. Do you mind sharing with us and the audience what is your word of the decade?
My word to describe the past decade would be away. AWAY.
Away. Far, far away.
Not necessarily that meaning.
Okay, so why have you chosen the word away?
I was thinking at the beginning of the decade, like even before 2010, I was aiming for a scholarship that will get me a breakaway or a breakthrough, right? From my socio-economic status and so on. So, at the beginning of the decade, I have never been out of the country, not even Singapore or Thailand, which is very near. I've never been outside the country. My family at the time, we didn't really do travel trip, that kind of thing. I know that getting a scholarship to study abroad will be my ticket to break away and experience new things, to move up the ladder, so to speak. So throughout the decade, for the past 10 years, I've been to quite a few different countries, some of which I never even thought of that I'll be setting my foot on, such as Iran and India.
Wow.
I'm very grateful for opportunities given by Amir Muhammad and Prof. Farid Altas, just kind of things that you just have to be jump on it, kind of thing. I've also been fortunate to study in a different country, two different countries actually, and it's been such a journey. And I'm grateful for everything.
So that was beginning and end of the decade, I guess. So you've basically been away.
Yeah, I mean, away also have a different meaning, not just, that's why I don't say it's a far away. It's not just about a distance, right? I mean, the first one is more like a break away kind of thing, and the second meaning is more towards I've been away for I think majority of the past decade, like, I've been away from friends, family. I've been away during, important weddings and funerals. I've missed more than I can count, I think. And it's just those moments that bring people together, and I'm not there, kind of thing. In a way, I think I'm slightly accustomed to it, but at the same time, yeah, when it happens, sometimes you just feel like, you should be there, kind of thing. And you also know that since you are away, you also know that when you actually come home, it's like the time you have with them is limited. That when you go away, things can happen, and you never know. You never know. I lost count of how many times actually I don't know at that time that this is the last time actually meeting this person. This is the last time actually, seeing this, talking to this person. It's it's such a, I don't know, poignant thing, I guess.
I think I can really relate to your word away, because I've been away since I was 13. I mean, it wasn't very far, but it was being away for 13, and then after that being away again. And yeah, so I think I can really understand how that feels. Yeah, I think that that's quite close to a word that I think I might choose as well, but I chose another word, which isn't away.
So what's your word?
My word, I was torn on two words, but they actually have the same meaning. But then I got a better suggestion, thank you to synonyms. And my word of the decade is leap. Like leapfrog, like the jumping of the frog.
Leap of faith.
Leap, yes. I think it summarizes this decade a lot, because in all honesty, I did not plan on being where I am today. And I know that for a lot of people, you can say the same thing, like, oh, I didn't know I'd be here, I didn't know here. But for one thing, I really had, Japan was never part of the plan. I was an English enthusiast from day one, and like the start of the decade, going for that JPA interview, the first thing I told the interviewer was, I love English, I want to do a degree in English, I want to be a journalist, I want to be a teacher. I with a degree in English I can do so many things, and my dad was all for it. And so when I got the call that said, hey, you got the scholarship, but it's to Japan, it was something that really caught me off guard. I was like, well, Japan, wait, this is never part of the plan. I didn't have that plan, but I took the leap. And I got into the Japan program. I took that leap, and there were so many other leaps that I took that was never part. I mean, even now after my degree, my mom told me that, hey, it's okay, you can do your degree in Japan. After that, you can find another degree in English or something and take that up. Just take this opportunity. And I was like, yeah, okay. Then I took another leap, applying for a scholarship again for PhD, master/PhD. And I didn't know why I applied for Japan again, but I did for some reason. And yeah, I was like, you know what, it's a scholarship, leap again. I always told myself that the part of the plan that was correct was wanting to study and wanting to be a professor, a researcher, but I never knew that I'd be doing it in the field of languages. And you can ask my friends, you can ask my close acquaintances or friends, they never envisioned me to be this track, on this academic track. So it was a lot of leaps.
I guess leaping is kind of like, it's not like you don't know what you want, you don't plan, it's not like that, but I think it's more like you kind of think you might want to go here, but you're not sure, right? There are multiple options, and then you just, you know what, let's just go for it, kind of thing, and let's hope on and then see where it goes. And if you see where it leads to, kind of thing. And if you don't like, you can always
return, if you don't like, you can't return. You just gotta keep going. There's no returning back. Okay, but I get what you mean. So leap and away, leap away. leap away into 2020. Okay, so let's talk about 2020. I mean, I find it interesting that people make it such a big deal that, you know, it's the year 2020. I know because we have, especially Malaysians, you know, we had Wawasan 2020. We had this real and vision, or maybe that's why it's a big deal to us. You know, like, wow, the year of flying cars, the year, you know, we didn't know what to expect, and now it's just a couple of hours away. What do you think? Like, do you think it's as big? Is it as big as it should be, or are we just, you know, overplaying it?
People attach meaning to things, whether it's the year or objects. So I just find it's quite normal. I mean, even every, you know, January, 1st of January, whatever year, it's always people attach meaning to it, right? It's a new beginning, stuff like that. So I guess it's just maybe a little bit more this year in the sense that it's a new decade, right? If we had been more grown up in 1999, December 31st, I'm sure there's even more, you know, it's kind of like a dawn of a new millennium, new century kind of thing, right? Not even new century, new millennium, decade, I mean thousands, right? You know, that feels even more epochal. I don't know if I pronounced it right. But yeah, people attach meaning to things, and it's what they do with it, right? That counts. So it's how we interpret. You know, historians and political scientists try to categorize. You know, okay, this decade is the decade of what? But I mean, we have to be mindful that these are all just construction. That's what I guess that's what I'm trying to emphasize. We can construct it by different years, different period. Not by 10 years, you know, 1990 to 2000, but more like, you know, maybe from Reagan era to I don't know, Bush era, things like this. Yeah.
Okay, so this new decade, what's in it for you? What's the plan? What's the plan for 2020? What's the plan?
Well, I'm starting the year doing my fieldwork, so I hope that my interviews, you know, will go well. Hopefully, I get to interview people on a subject that I think is quite important. Not only in academic but also in Malaysia and social change. I mean, something that I quite believe in. I think it's important. So let's see how it goes, and I'll spend the rest of the year trying to write based on the sources that I got and see where it goes. What about you?
Year 2020 for me, yeah, I mean, it's such a big thing, but I guess it is also gonna, in my memory, it's gonna be a big, because it's the year I finally write my dissertation. Like, it's the year moving from PhD student officially to PhD candidate, where all I have to do is just finish writing the paper, be third year of PhD. So I think no matter how I go on throughout the years, I will look back in 2020 and remember that year of writing my dissertation. So that it sounds very simple, but at the moment that's the only main big thing that's on my plate. So I guess that's why.
So we should spend the next year a lot of writing.
Yes, a lot of writing.
So that's our words of the decade. And what about you? Maybe you can think of something. You can put in the comment section below.
Yes, please share with us your word of the decade before we move into the brand new 2020. And thank you so much again for joining us on today's episode. Hope you guys have a great new year. Whatever it is you're doing, all the best with that. Any last words?
May
No?
the force be with you.
May the force be with you for year 2020. Alright, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum. Bye. We wish you a happy new year.